In the grand, terrifying theater of the cosmos, power is usually a script written in blood and boredom. The throne hall of Varelia was no exception, humming with the soft, eerie tension of a binary star implosion. Here, beneath a ceiling shimmering with a simulated sky that mocked the lost home world, Empress Lisava presided over a court of brooding immortals. She presented Prince Veor, a vampire aristocrat whose platinum-capped fangs and bioluminescent armor screamed absolute suffocating perfection. He was the safe choice, the logical choice, but Princess Seraphine, weary of eons spent watching royals strike elegant murder poses, wasn't interested in logic. She wanted chaos. She wanted the human. "I want this human, Mom." The declaration hit the room with the kinetic force of a freighter collision. She chose Cade, the captive soldier who had the audacity to mock her boots and make her laugh in the face of death. It reminds us that even in the coldest reaches of space, connection often sparks not from grand gestures, but from the most trivial human moments of defiance. The Empress, looking as though the very word human might crack her teeth, delivered her ultimatum. If Seraphine wanted the sticky, fragile creature who watched baking shows, he had to survive the ordeal of thorns. Down in the energy-dampened dungeons, Cade was busy threatening the lighting fixtures when Seraphine delivered the news. The ordeal wasn't a gladiator match. It was a psionic labyrinth generated by an ancient Ilari core. It fed on insecurity. Cade, realizing his sarcasm was his only real weapon against cosmic horror, agreed. "If I die in a maze made of my own trauma, I'm haunting you." He stepped into the void, a place where reality wore thin. The first layer, regret, materialized not as monsters, but as versions of himself. The decorated soldier, the hopeful recruit, and the broken survivor. They taunted him with past failures, but Cade faced them down with a simple, terrifying truth. He was flawed, but he kept trying. The landscape shifted to identity, a cruel simulation of his childhood bedroom where a facsimile of his mother probed his soul. He fought not for glory, but because Seraphine believed in him. Finally, he faced fear, a mirror image of himself, stripped of weakness, offering power without soul. Cade shattered the illusion with his fist, choosing the pain of being real over the numbness of perfection. He emerged from the void yelling, "Banana!" for dramatic effect, a battle cry for the absurdly brave. But the Empress was not done. She invoked the rite of fusion. In a crystalline prism, Cade and Seraphine were stripped bare, their minds and biology forcibly synchronized. It was a violation and a revelation. He felt the weight of her crown. She felt the fire of his resilience. Their blood swirled into violet plasma, proving a bond that defied eons of breeding. Yet, the old guard does not yield easily. Lord Antares, an exiled warlord with a vendetta and forbidden psionics, emerged from the shadows to challenge the Union. He demanded a duel in the arena of glass, beneath the searing gaze of twin moons. It was a spectacle of disparity, a genetically augmented master against a human with a duct-taped sword. But as sparks sang and blades clashed, Cade fought with the desperate, ugly grit of a species that dies too young. He didn't win with grace. He won with stubbornness, utilizing the environment to leave the warlord broken in the radioactive sand. Desperate, the opposition played their final card, the archive clause. They dragged the couple to the celestial vault, where ancient archivists, beings of translucent logic, consulted the nebula codex. The tension was absolute. Then, the verdict. The future hinged on a paradox. The anomaly was the key. The queen would only survive by the hand of the outsider. In every great history, it seems, survival requires the introduction of the unknown. The coronation was a blinding display of solar banners and living metal, attended by a confused llama-shaped drone. Seraphine ascended the dais, the crown of compressed nebula mist settling on her brow. She was no longer just a princess. She was an empress who had chosen her own destiny. The court bowed not just to power, but to the impossible reality standing beside her. A human consort who joked that the hors d'oeuvres tasted like philosophical dilemmas. Later, as the celebrations raged and the galaxy adjusted to its new axis, they stood alone on the solar balcony. The aurora bloomed overhead, painting the night in colors of victory. They had survived the labyrinth, the fusion, the duel, and the prophecy. "Let's rewrite the galaxy," she whispered, her eyes holding the promise of 1,000 tomorrows. And Cade, the human anomaly who loved a vampire, simply smiled. They were the glitch in the system, and they were magnificent.